questions for Coach Cook?
Yeah, John, can you talk about what happened? I guess what happened on Thursday that led to the postponement of last weekend's matches, and what were the discussions like between you and the Big Ten that led to that decision?
Well, those discussions are between the trainers and the doctors, and when what happened was Michigan State had an outbreak, and they had played Wisconsin, so Wisconsin was under the alert of they were testing every day, PCR testing every day to see if they would have, because they played on Sunday, I believe. So sure enough, on day 5, Wisconsin had a couple positives, and that was it.
Was there any discussion to find a different opponent, or was it just Wisconsin not playing Wisconsin? That's it for the weekend.
Yeah, there was discussion. Minnesota, Nebraska, Illinois, and Maryland ended up canceling. I can't remember who else was in that, but long story short, there was discussion, but nothing could be worked out.
Kevin Suits?
It was pretty late notice for anything to change, and we were looking at trying to get a charter. So there was a lot going on, but it's such late notice. It's really hard.
John, what was the level of disappointment, shock, and all the other emotions involved in last week? And I'm sure you're aware your fan base was very just stunned to see that that postponement came in kind of late in the week.
Yeah, it was. I think the team was pretty disappointed. You get all ramped up, and then you don't get to play. So, but I think they're also used to it, and it didn't surprise them. So we kind of knew. I kind of knew more Wednesday night what was going on, but we didn't tell them until we knew for sure on Thursday. So, it's just this is the life of COVID, and it was over half the Big Ten didn't play. So you just got to deal with it. We tried to make the best of it over the weekend and try to get back in routine this week.
Brent Wagner.
Yeah, if your opponent couldn't play and somebody else's opponent weren't going to be able to play, and you were going to agree to reschedule or schedule a new match, how early in the week would you have to know to feel comfortable saying, we feel good about still playing a different team this weekend?
Well, we would be fine with that preparation-wise or anything like that. It's just logistics of getting somebody of playing, because we had to we had a plane scheduled, but we had to cancel it, and then you're trying to find another plane. So if somebody has to travel, that's one issue. So I think it's a lot easier for the schools that can bus, Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern, those guys, it's Ohio State, Michigan's. Those guys can just get on a bus and go. That's a lot easier than trying to get a charter and get 28 people somewhere in a hotel. So I think us and Rutgers and Penn State, maybe Minnesota to a degree, that are on the fringes of the Big Ten geographic map, it's a little harder to put together a trip than if you can just jump on a bus and go. I mean, if we they said, hey, you can play Creighton tomorrow, yeah, no problem. We can buzz up there and play Creighton. So it's just, that's the logistic part of it.
Is it easy to get officials? Is moving officials around a challenge?
I don't know. Our Marcia Alterman, our head of our officials group, has said she will do everything last minute to get officials there. So don't let that be a deterrent to trying to reschedule or switch matches around.
Andrew Ward.
Hey, John, are you worried that kind of killed some of the momentum you had after you played so well in that Minnesota match a couple Sundays ago?
Yeah, a little bit. And I was looking at Illinois. They've only played one match in 3 weeks as well, I think. Or let's see. They had a cancellation, so I think they canceled, played, canceled, and then we played, canceled. Now we're playing. So they've had a kind of a delay in their deal too. So Yeah, I am a little worried, and we'll have to see. But I think they'll be fired up to play just because they're tired of practice, I think.
Lincoln Arneal.
You got about a month left or so of the regular season. I know you previously said you're against midweek matches. With having a couple cancellations and time being precious, are you still against playing a match or two after seeing what Ohio State and Penn State have been able to do?
No, we're not opposed to it. It's just, the factors that go into it is school. That's one. Two, getting there. Three, playing 4 matches or 3 matches in a week with travel could be really hard on our student athletes. So you got to factor in that. And then the other thing is the logistics of getting the facilities, because a lot of these facilities are shared by wrestling, gymnastics. Now they're winding down. I think they're getting close to winding down. And basketball potentially could be an impact as well. So, but our men's basketball team's been on a grind, and so there just has to be a lot of thought that goes into it. But it's something I think everybody's open to. Yeah.
Is it a priority to try to get a match against Wisconsin in the time you have left this season?
I think with the Big Ten, probably yes. Who knows when Wisconsin's coming back? They're probably shut down for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So that leaves us, we're week 5 right now. That leaves us with 2 weeks. I don't know what their schedule is or if they're traveling, but I'm not going to take our team and be on the road for an entire week. I can tell you that. Because I just school and that's something that can be tough on our team.
Did you scrimmage on Friday or Saturday when your matches got postponed?
Yeah, well, we just trained. We didn't do an official scrimmage or anything.
In terms of the whole season, how does it hurt you the most when you don't have matches for a week?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if it does hurt us or not. I think when you get in the season, you're in a grind, and you're. I don't want to say you're on the edge, but you're ramped up. You're grinding. You're in a great routine. We just had to deal with taking basically 3 days off mentally. It's more the mental part than the physical part, because we're always trying to keep our athletes fresh and all that, but it's the mental letdown. You're on edge, you're going, you're grinding, you're in the zone, and then all of a sudden, they're bored out of their minds. I was bored this weekend, and so that's the mental part is the hard part, I think.
Any more questions for Coach?
What's practice been like? I mean, you said mentally it's a grind. What has the extended stretch of practice been like in the gym, and how have they responded to going a couple weeks without a match?
Yeah, we try to do some fun things, different things, just to keep their interest. So that's number one. Number two, I think they've handled it really well. I mean, this group loves to train. They love coming to practice. At least I never think that they don't want to be there. I can give you years and dates that are imprinted in my brain of team days of practice and times when they didn't want to be there. But this group seems to really, really enjoy it, and I think it's how we run our practices and how we structure it. And they're learning, they're getting better, they're having fun, they're getting challenged. So. And it's a good escape from everything, because you got to remember now, I mean, pretty much their day is hanging out in their apartment, online classes. It's not like they're going to class or going to Starbucks or scooters or, they're out and about. They're still pretty isolated. So I think they look forward. This is like an escape to come here and get away from everything and get something accomplished, with other people.
And then speaking of this upcoming week, what sort of challenges does Illinois present to you?
Well, they have been running a 6-2. They got some big physical hitters. They lead the conference in aces per game, so they're always very good serving team. And So there's a start right there. So we're going to have to be able to handle their serves, and they've got some big arms that we're going to have to deal with. So, and we're going there. So, typical Big Ten weekend, and got to go in there and be ready to compete.
Take one more from Brent Wagner.
Yeah, you got some older players, obviously, with Lauren this year, and then you have some younger players. Just overall, how do you feel about the culture of the program right now?
I mean, I'm not sure what you're asking. And like I said, they like being here. They've been great. They work hard. You know, they seem like they like each other, and I think just the only thing that's a damper is, you know, getting matches canceled, because I think they really want to play. You know, and they were asking me, hey, can we go play somebody else? I said, well, we're looking at it. I mean, that was the first thing I said. Can we go play somebody else? So I think they just want to play and compete. And but I think the culture of our program is awesome.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That's all for Coach Cook.
Okay, thanks, Nikki.
All right. Questions for Nicklin Hames?
Hi, Nicklin. What was it like when you got the news that matches last week against Wisconsin was canceled? What was the team reaction? What kind of mood did you all go through?
Yeah, obviously we were very disappointed. It's hard when you train really hard the whole week and you're super excited about a match and then it gets canceled. But we've tried to prepare this whole season to be prepared for situations like that. So I think we were okay with it, but of course we were bummed and we were like, oh, can we play someone else? Like we just wanted to compete that weekend.
When did you find out that the match wasn't going to be canceled?
It was on Thursday morning. We found out. So we were going to leave that afternoon, and we got a text in the morning that, as Coach says, Huskers code red is when we know something bad's about to happen.
Andrew Ward.
Nicklin, I asked John this, but just was there a worry at all that you kind of lose some of that momentum you got when you were playing so well against Minnesota a couple Sundays ago?
Yeah, I think there is some worry, but I think our team has finally gotten over that hump, and we've started to implement with what we've been doing in practice in the game. And I don't know, I think we want to keep that edge that we have, and I think we're going to be really focused and excited to play this weekend to show that we're going to continue with that momentum.
Beth.
Nicklin, I want to go back to the Minnesota match, and your defense was out of this world. Can you talk about your mindset for defense that match, particularly on Sunday, and what you were thinking about?
Yeah, I just have a mindset of if the ball comes in my area, it's not going to go down to the ground. I just feel like I always try to play fearless on defense, and it costs me sometimes to get hit in the face, but that's okay. But, yeah, I love defense. I think I'm maybe one of the only setters who really enjoys defense, but I love to do it, so.
Kevin Suits.
Nicklin, tell us more about Huskers Code Red. When did you guys start using this term, and does it only relate to situations in which you might have a game postponed or canceled?
Yeah, so I think we started using Huskers Code Red during like the pandemic when it first started, when he would like tell us bad news, be like, Huskers Code Red, we're getting shut down, we can't practice, we can't lift, or like sometimes it's just mainly when it's bad information coming our way. And it's kind of funny, I don't know, because it's like code red. But sometimes he says code red and he's like, we're going to move practice back 30 minutes. So sometimes he gets us on it a little bit, but yeah.
Is this a John Cook term? Is this something he came up with, or is it something that you girls talk about as you anticipate something to happen?
No, he came up with it. Every time he texts us when there's going to be something bad, it says Huskers, code red.
Andrew Ward.
Hey, Nick, I wanted to ask you about a couple of matches ago. I noticed the setters were wearing a different warm-up shirt. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, so every single word on that shirt is something that we've come up with this season in the setter group. There's a bunch of different things on there, but it's kind of like just all over the place, like just different words that represent like the setting style that we're using now. And I think it's just a reminder of it when we wear those shirts, and it has our little nicknames on the back. And we were super excited about those shirts because we say those words every day in setter training and in practice. And so to have it on a shirt was super exciting.
Is there a word that like stands out more to you on those shirts? Or how do the nicknames, I guess, come about?
Yeah, so my nickname is Phoenix, and then Ani's nickname is Baby Maroof, and then Kennedy's is TBD, which is to be determined. But at the beginning of the year, Tyler kind of gave me that nickname of I'm going to just kind of burn what's happened the past couple years and kind of rise out of the ashes and do this new thing, be this new Nicklin. And so they call me Phoenix. And then Ani sets like this men's setter, which is Maroof. And so that's how she got her nickname. But honestly, all the words on there mean a lot to us as a setter group because they represent all this change and everything that we do every day. So it's hard to pick just one. But maybe sometime I could tell you like every single one that's on there because there's so many on there.
Martin Hers.
Yeah, I know occasionally when you get a kill, you get like super hyped up. What's the thought process behind instead of passing, you go for the kill?
Yeah, I'm a smaller setter, so anytime I get a kill or a block, I get a little more excited. Sometimes my tongue comes out a little bit. But I just get excited. You know, I wanted to be a more offensive setter this year and actually be a threat at the net, so they had to pay attention to me. And that's just another part of the offense that we're trying to create where I'm a threat as well, so it opens up a lot for our other hitters.
Lincoln.
Nicklin, so you get that text of code red, then what happens next? Do you have a phone call, or how does that news get disseminated after you get that initial code red?
Yeah, so we got the text in the morning that we potentially couldn't be going to Wisconsin. We wouldn't be going to Wisconsin. But then we still had practice later that afternoon, and then we got more information there. We usually have a team meeting, and we lay out all the information about what's going on, what's happening. And then I know there was a possibility of us playing someone else, so there was discussions about that. But yeah, usually it starts with the possibility of this being canceled, and then later on in the team meeting, we find out that it is canceled.
What's been the hardest thing for you to deal with throughout the whole pandemic? I mean, volleyball, non-volleyball, what's been the hardest thing that you've had to deal with in the last year, I guess?
Yeah, I would say for me, just being okay with change. I'm so used to being in such a routine. I think volleyball has implemented that for me. Is just we're always on a certain routine, and you just have to be okay that it's not always going to be the same, and you have to expect the unexpected. And I think that's something that our team has really done well this year. We've grown a lot with that. Is just you have to be ready to change at any second. You have to be ready to adapt to any situation and what's going on. And I think that's hard when your whole life it's been like a routine and it's been set. So I would say that's been the most difficult for me.
Last one from Kevin Suits.
Sorry, Nate, nothing too saucy with this last question. Nicklin, Do you guys think you'll be able to play Wisconsin at some point during the season, or what are your thoughts on the possibility of maybe rescheduling one of those matches throughout the course of the year? And John said that he just doesn't want to have you guys on the road the entire week. What's your stance on maybe having to change your schedule, change your travel, just to make sure that you guys get to play the Badgers at some point?
Yeah, I know our team would be super excited, and I'm super excited to get the possibility to play them or to even reschedule that match. And I think it would just, like you said, it would be in the middle of the week, and then we'd play another team on the weekend. And, you know, with this season, you never know. There could be more cancellations on the weekend, and we get an opportunity to fill them in one of those spots. But I think we really want to play them, especially after last year, how it went. I think we were all super excited for this weekend, so I think everyone would be super excited to play them, even if we got them rescheduled in the middle of the week.
Do you think you'd be okay playing 3 or 4 matches in 1 week?
Yeah, I think we would. It's kind of like a club a little bit, playing a lot of matches in a close proximity. And then I think it's a good preparation for the tournament too. You know, we play games pretty close together, so I think it would be fine.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.